Hi, everybody. Joe Ramirza here. How's it going? I'm a sound engineer, professional sound engineer. I've been working on films and TV and animation for years. I also do music. And I'm here to talk to you today about a phenomena called phase cancellation. Phenomena. Do, 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 do. Phenomena. Do, 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 do. And what that is, let me see if I can explain this to you. Why do you always check in mono whether your mixes are good or not? Well, in mono, you only have one speaker. And if you have two sound sources that are identical, but they're 180 degrees out of phase, you're not going to be able to hear it. Imagine the same sound source shifted 180 degrees so that one is going exactly in the opposite direction of the other. Okay? And when you're working with sound, let me show you something. I got a film project years ago, and I usually put the dialogue straight up the middle. And I had the two dialogue tracks up, equal volume, and they're panned in the middle, but I was barely hearing anything. See, I was seeing that each track had a good signal, but if you look at your master fader, there's nothing there. And if you pan one track to the left and one track to the right, okay, I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. You could hear at that time, right? But these two tracks are out of phase. And if you listen to this dialogue, no, it's not good to lie, period. I'm telling you, if you put both your dialogues up the middle so that they are both fighting for the center channel, they're going to cancel each other out. You can't really tell by looking at it at this altitude in Pro Tools because you can see that there's signal there and you should be hearing a nice, healthy signal, but you're not hearing it. But if you zoom in very close and take a look at some of these transients, no, I'm not talking about homeless people. I'm talking about those little spikes, which represent waveforms. You can, if you zoom in real close, you can see that this track up here, spike is going up above the null line and then down. And right at the same time, it's going down and then up. So basically, that's canceling each other out. And like a speaker, if you have two pieces of information coming in at the same time, the speaker wants to go out and then come back in, pull out or pull back in to create the sound, which creates a ripple of air, which creates sound. All right. So what's happening is one track's telling the speaker to move out. At the same time, the other one's saying, no, pull back in. So they're nulling each other out. So watch what happens. If you want to cure this, you can just put a plug-in, a simple EQ plug-in from Pro Tools that has this little phase button, and you push the phase button. Now,
Wait, back up a second. So, when you lie, it's a good thing, but not when I do?
yeah, I'm still not lying. I'm telling the truth. If I take that button out, they're going to cancel each other out, and it's going to be hard to hear. Or if you wanted to fix the actual, if you zoom in, you can see that it's still all messed up. It's still out of phase. One piece is going up on one track while the other one's going down. But if you wanted to fix that, what you could do is select the whole track like that. And instead of putting in a plug-in like this, go up to your audio suite, go to the same plug-in, the EQ with the little phase shift button. You hit the phase shift button. Let me zoom in so you can actually see the waveforms again. You see this waveform is going down while this one's going up at the same time. Watch what happens when I use the audio suite plug-in to flip that phase 180 degrees. Render it. Now they're both going the same direction.
Wait, back up a second.
And
So, when you.
now when you're panning both your tracks up the middle.
Wait,
It's
back up a second.
perfectly in
So
phase.
when you lie, it's a good thing, but not when I do?
I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. Now, for this demonstration, actually, what I did is I created just a sine wave. Those of you that know what sine waves are, they're just a nice, even tone. And, that tone sounds like this. That's a 600 hertz tone. That means it's going back and forth 600 times a second. And what I did was I created a duplicate of that track right below it. And if you duplicate it, it's twice as loud, as you can tell. These are the two tracks that it's on. They're both panned up the middle. And it's getting a nice, healthy signal. But what I did was I took this bottom track, and if you zoom in, you can see that one track's going up. Let's get rid of these plugins so you can see it. It goes up and then down, up, down, up, down, up. It's identical, right? So we can hear a nice, clear tone. But check this out. I took this bottom track and nudged it over so that it was out of phase. Let me zoom back in. See, I nudged it over so that when this one's coming up, this one's coming down at the same time. Now I'm going to play both of these tracks at the same time. You're going to hear absolutely nothing. If I mute the second channel, you can hear it because we're just hearing the top track, but the minute I put in that second track, it's canceling itself out. It's physically canceling itself out. That's what's happening. Let me put up the graphic again. This is what's happening. I nudged over track 2 to the point where it just hit a null point, and it's canceling itself out. Isn't that amazing? That's phase cancellation in a nutshell, and I am a nutshell for showing you. It's a phenomena called phase cancellation, and I hope maybe this explains a few things to you. Thanks for listening.